guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food with Chanell. So today we're going to be making something very simple, thank God, because normally it's always something dramatic and there's a lot going on, but today it's quick, simple, and this recipe should only take 40 minutes max. And that's even me stretching it. We could push it to 30 minutes, but who knows. I think, shout out to the person that said it. I'm going to try and find the comment, and if I find it, I'm going to post it somewhere here. But I'm sure one of my subs said, can you make tuna pasta bake? So that's what we're going to be making today. Something quick, simple, easy. I'm going to be making the sauce from scratch, and even that is quite easy to make. So if you want to make this, make sure you check the ingredients list in the description below. Make sure you're following me on all my socials, Chanell A. Wallace on TikTok and Snapchat, and Food with Chanell on Pinterest, Facebook and Instagram, and of course YouTube. So let's get straight into it and make some tuna pasta bake. What you're going to need is some grated cheddar cheese, a mozzarella cheese ball, some pasta. The pasta of your choice is okay. This is the one that I like to use. Some double cream, some fish seasoning, some coarse black pepper, crushed garlic cloves, 2 tins of tuna, dried parsley, dried basil, dried thyme, garlic granules, smoked paprika, all-purpose seasoning, tomato puree, and half a chopped red onion. Now let's get started on our tuna pasta bake. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is saute the onions in some olive oil. Okay, so once your oil is nice and hot, add in the red pepper. Add in the red onion. Just gonna saute these for a few minutes. Then we're going to add in our tuna and just begin to break up that tuna. But as you start to do that, this is where you're going to add in the seasoning. So here I have a 3/4 teaspoon of fish seasoning and a 3/4 teaspoon of coarse black pepper. Then I'm going to add in about a 1/2 teaspoon or 3/4 teaspoon, yeah, about half. A 1/2 teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic granules, 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, 1/2 teaspoon of basil, and 1/2 teaspoon of parsley. Mix that up and just break down that tuna as you're doing it. Like so. Whilst we're doing this as well, I'm just going to boil the kettle so that we can boil our pasta, because we might as well get that going whilst we're doing this, because this won't take long at all. Okay, you can just keep this on low whilst we do this. I've just got my water on in the back and I'm about to add the pasta to it, but before I do that, I'm going to add one large garlic clove crushed, but if not, then 2 normal size ones. And put that garlic in there and just mix that up again over a low heat. Then you're going to add about 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. We may need some more, but for now we're adding in 2. And just mix that up together. I'm going to add a drop of water, maybe a couple of tablespoons, just to get that working a little bit, maybe even a little bit more actually. Add about a 1/4 cup into it just to work out the tomato puree. It will just kind of begin to work out before we add the sauce. At the back, our water is now boiling, but I'm going to boil about 200 to 250 grams of pasta. I've added a little bit more water just to thin cut it out a little bit. It was starting to get a bit dry. So your mix should look like that. The pasta should be on in the back. So then now you're just going to add your cream sauce. And that was double cream or heavy cream for anyone that lives in the US. I think it might be the same everywhere else actually, I'm not too sure. But yeah, it doesn't look too appetizing, but trust the process. Just mix it gently and you'll see the vibes, okay? You'll get that creamy sauce that you're looking for. I was contemplating whether I wanted to add some passata to this because it's a light tomato looking sauce, so I actually think I'm gonna add some passata to this, and this is actually the right time. I'm gonna start off adding a quarter of this carton in, then I'm going to give it a mix and you'll see what I mean. It's going to start getting that orange colour that we want, which is exactly what it's doing here. But I think I want it a tinge darker, so as I said, I've added about a quarter, so I'm going to add about half, but I'll put the exact measurements in, guys. You guys already know I cook with the flow. So I keep on adding and just seeing what works for me. And there we are, it's starting to go a bit darker. I think we can actually add some more because I like my sauce to have like a deep orange colour to it, so you'll see what I mean. I'm just adding a bit of passata in at a time until I get that colour that I want, as opposed to adding it all in and then you've got to add more cream, and we don't want the sauce to be that creamy, you know. A little bit darker. We're nearly at the whole carton, almost, but not fully. And then that is the whole carton. That's the whole carton of passata in there now. And I'm just gonna keep this over a low heat whilst the pasta is cooking. And then we'll come back, but this will reduce down a little bit. It will start to get a bit thicker, so just keep checking on it and stirring it. Oh, I forgot, let me add half a teaspoon of smoked paprika to this. Give that a mix, and also a pinch of salt and pepper as well. Just make sure you give it a taste. And yes, that's basically it. You see, that wasn't really a hard task, guys. It wasn't really that hard, but because I'm still looking for a slightly, this colour is fine, but I still just want that slight bit more orangey colour to it. I'm going to add a bit more tomato paste in there as well and just mix that in, and then I think we're good. Yeah, by the time our pasta is cooked, we'll come back and assemble this. Quick and simple, and this would have got a bit thicker by then as well. Okay, so I tasted my sauce and added some more salt and all-purpose seasoning. So it had about, was it a 3/4, oh, this needed stirring, about a 1/2 to a 3/4 teaspoon in the sauce, because of course we've added a lot of passata and cream in there, so that needs to be seasoned. And then I added a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I'm a bit concerned that we have very little pasta for this, because I've added obviously passata and all that stuff in there, but the sauce itself looks good, so I may have to cook some more pasta, which shouldn't take too long. But I'm going to add this that I've cooked and see into our sauce. Hold on, I think I might be right, you know. I think I might be right. This looks like a lot of sauce and very little pasta. It looks good though. It just looks like it needs more. Because what I might just do then is take some of the sauce out, because I don't want this to overcook either. And then I can also always, add that sauce to some pasta that I cook. So I can let it cool down. And then, you know, so panic over slightly. It's not the worst thing. So as I said, I'm going to take out some of the sauce. I'm not gonna make it too saucy, because there is a lot of sauce in this. But the meat has gone, the tuna has gone a long way. It looks delicious. I'm not even gonna lie. I've not had tuna pasta bake in so long. So I'm excited to try this. Just trying to get out some of that sauce, car. The girl went crazy.
So I realised whilst editing this that one of my subs actually asked for a tutorial of how to make a tuna pasta bake, but on a stovetop, and I totally forgot. So I'm going to quickly give you guys a few tips of how to do that now. Basically, add as much sauce as you like to your pasta, so not this much. Almost imagine you're making spaghetti bolognese. Keep it in the pan, top it with some cheese, and then add a lid to the pan just to let that cheese melt for a few minutes, and then serve it and eat it straight away. I'll tell you guys quickly before we even get into the taste test. This sauce was banging, so I know for sure that this will taste just as good without baking it in the oven. So if you do want to try this just on the stovetop, this is your way to do it, and I'll add all the info, the ingredients and any tips into the description below.
Well, you know what? I might just be mad and make more pasta, because this still looks so saucy to me. I feel like I don't want it to be too wet, and it won't bake for too long either. So pause here. We're going to come back. 5 minutes. Okay, so as you can see, I've got a bit left over, and as it's cooled down, it's gone a bit more solid, but it's not too creamy, but I don't want it this creamy. I still want a bit of, you know, a bit more pasta in there. So I've made a bit more pasta, so we're going to add it to this. I don't know how much I'm going to add though, probably not the whole thing, just with a little bit of pasta water. Mix this up, and then I'm going to add this to it, and if I need to add more pasta, then I can just add it straight to the dish. Okay, so now I'm just going to add this little bit of pasta in here. I'm just going to give it another mix to see if I want to add in a bit more, but this is nice and creamy. You don't want it too dry either as well. We can probably add in a little bit more, and then I think we're good. Then we're going to top it with some mozzarella and some grated cheddar, sprinkle it with some dried parsley, and bake it in the oven, and not even for long, for probably about 20 minutes at 190 to 200, just so that cheese can melt. And then we're good. Look at that. Look at how nice and creamy that is. Delicious. And I think the 2 tins actually did quite good. Obviously, if you like a lot of tuna, then you can add a bit more, but I don't think that we need it. So yeah, this is good for me, because it's not too saucy and it's not dry either. It's just right in the middle. We just need to top this with some cheese, and then we're good. So I've got these pieces of mozzarella, but I think I'm actually just gonna rip them apart a little bit. Got some cubed pieces here, just to dot them around rather than have the big circles. I think I want to do it this way, so we can get nice pools of cheese. Like this. And then I'm just going to top it all with some grated cheddar over the top. Okay, and then we've got our cheese layer on top. I feel like, to be honest, I would want some more cheese on it, but I'm not grating any more cheese. We're going to stick with this amount. And then I'm going to just put some dried parsley over the top. I'm going to put this in the oven at 180, I think. No, not 180. I'm going to put this in the oven at 190 for about 20 minutes. Literally, you just want that to melt, the top to get nice and golden, and then we're good to go. Our tuna pasta bake is done and it smells divine. The way I'm so ready to try this. Look at that. I actually had to add more cheese on top because, look, yeah, I made the right choice. It was probably in for about 60 seconds and then I took it out and I just grated the cheese on top, but here we have it. Just listen to that as well, just the Now the best thing you can do is leave it to sit for a bit, because then one, it's not piping hot and you're not going to burn yourself, and two, it comes out a bit more solid rather than just splattering all over the plate. But yeah, we're going to plate this up and give it a taste test. And I'm also going to add, because I added more cheese, if you look at the top you can't really see the parsley anymore. I'm just going to add some parsley to the top, leave it to sit for a bit, and then we will serve this. Yum. So I've dipped into it already to do my video for shorts and reels, but look at that. That's definitely going to be the thumbnail. Delicious. I'm just going to get that onto the plate so that we can give it a taste test. And then that is it, tuna pasta bake. This one looks slightly better, but again, this one was for shorts and TikTok and stuff, but look at that. Don't worry, we're gonna give you guys a proper taste test in a sec, but look at that deliciousness. Let's give this a taste test. Look at that. I've already been kind of going into it for pictures and stuff, but ooh, look at that. Nice, creamy deliciousness. I know it's going to taste good though. And it's very hot. So there's the first bite for you guys. Then I'm going to take this one. It is heavenly. Oh my gosh. Whoever requested this, thank you. Honestly, this is probably the best tuna pasta bake that I've ever made. It's so well seasoned. And then the cheese just... When do you guys see me practically having more than 2-3 bites max? That's how you know I'm enjoying it. 10 out of 10. Definitely try this at home. The ingredients list will always be in the description down below. I'm gonna go and eat this because, yeah. See you in the next video.